What's up, Buckeye Nation? Your co-host Florida Corey here. Ohio State football with Scarlet and Great right here on YouTube. We thank you for tuning in. Scarlet and Great on any of your podcast streaming services of your choice. If you, in fact, want to listen to the audio version of this, please do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps the channel to continue to provide free Buckeye content for the fans, by the fans. And I'm asking y'all to help us to get to 2,000 subscriptions as we're rolling right along. We appreciate all the love and support we've been getting. Appreciate all your comments. Appreciate all your likes. Appreciate you as always, Buckeye Nation. God bless you guys. And as always, thank you to Chat Sports for all of their support. So, guys, we didn't even get the chance to catch our breath. We are fresh off the heels, off the explosion of the commitment of JTT. And it was an explosion. It was such a unique commitment that it had Ohio State and Buckeye Nation on the edge of their seats. God bless you guys. I know it's been a hard ride, right? It's been a bumpy ride with JTT, and it finally came to an end. And he's a Buckeye, and we can all rest easy and breathe easy. But you know what? The Ohio State train never stops. We get yet another commitment in the form of Georgia wide receiver Kojo Antwi. By the way, quick thank you to Jeremy Birmingham for Bermanology at Letterman Row. I watched that before the show, before I recorded, because I did not know how to say this kid's name. As you know, if you've watched the channel, I am terrible with kids' names. Thank you to Birmingham for that. Saved me on that one. But another big boom, big time boom in Kojo Antwi. Let's talk a little bit about him really quick. Some things to know about him. First of all, class of 2022. Rated as a composite 4-star with a 95 rating, so very solid 4-star rating. He's from Suwanee, Georgia at Lambert High School. He's listed at 6 foot, 190 pounds, and he apparently has room to grow. Now, granted, sometimes these listings are a little old. I think he looks a little bigger than that when I watch his highlights. The main competitors for him were Georgia and Texas A&M, it seems, but schools like USC and Bama were also in the mix, so he was very highly coveted, as you can tell. And this will probably finish the wide receiver class of 2022, as we already have Caleb Burton, who's 5-star, otherworldly, just one of the, if not the best receiver in the country, one of the top 2 or 3 best receivers in the country. Caleb Brown, 5'11", it's kind of a slot receiver out of Chicago. A guy that if it was an Urban Meyer recruiting him would be in that H-back type role, probably a little bit more of a KJ Hill clone. Keon Grays, who apparently was very impressive in the opening, I have to mention that, and scored 3 touchdowns, I believe it was, and was just burning people left and right. And apparently looks like a bit of a hidden gem, although it's hard to say that when he's a 94 4-star. But again, even as a 94 4-star, he's our lowest rated wide receiver now that Kojo's in the mix. And Kojo beats him out just by a hair. Now, that doesn't mean that that's how their careers are going to go, obviously. But again, another stellar wide receiver class for Brian Hartline is we just come to expect. We've just come to expect every year now. I mean, let's be real. I mean, before we get into a little bit about the player himself, let's talk a little bit about this. I mean, any school in the country that goes up against Brian Hartline is just got to be shaking in their boots when they see that, oh, wait, all right, we got this kid, right? He's our number 1 wide receiver target. We think we can get him. And I just got word that Brian Hartline wants him. Jeez. I mean, Tommy Tuberville, when he was coaching at Cincinnati, famously said that, I mean, I don't know famously, but he said it when he wanted a kid out of Ohio. If Ohio State offered him and wanted him, he just gave up. Said, forget it. I don't want him anymore, because he knew he was going to go to Ohio State. And I have to feel that's kind of becoming the mentality with Brian Hartline. I have yet to hear about too many kids that Brian Hartline wants. If there's any, I don't know, that he's not able to pull. And the track record's becoming a little ridiculous now, and it's almost becoming to the point where if he did lose out on wide receiver, we'd wonder what was wrong, right? Because this has become the norm. If he wants somebody, he's going to get them. And I don't know, maybe he's just good at targeting the certain kids he knows he can get or whatever, so his track record looks really good. I don't know what it is, but all I know is he's got a heck of a pitch to make. When he played the NFL for several years, he made buku money in the NFL, came out of Ohio State doing it. He's a technician as a trainer. I mean, look at again, and on top of that, he gets to coach in one of the best offenses in the entire country with an offensive-minded head coach who happens to be a quarterback guru. You got all these quarterbacks coming down the pike. You know, the CJ McCords, Jack Millers, CJ Stroud, Jack Millers, and Kyle McCords and Quinn Ewers coming down the pike, and you could say, well, you're not going to be short on quarterbacks, and you're going to have plenty of guys who can sling the football to you. And you have a quarterback coach and a head coach who likes to throw the football, likes to run the football, but he also knows how to toss it. So you got to say that, and not to mention, oh, by the way, we're one of the most prestigious football colleges in the entire country. We put wide receivers in the NFL with regularity, and watch in the next 5 to 10 years how many wide receivers we put in the NFL. I mean, the only thing that they have going against them now is the room is too deep. Like, okay, well, I don't know. So do I want to go there and try to claw my way into some playing time, or do you go somewhere where it might be a little easier? I don't know. And that's not a afraid of competition type comment, by the way. That's just, sometimes it's just making a good decision for yourself. Like, I just don't even know if I'm going to see the field on at Ohio State because the wide receiver room is so freaking deep. But anyway, Hartline, Hartline gets what Hartline wants, and he wanted this kid. And again, you want to say, since Hartline is such a good recruiter, since the receiver room seems to be done, can we put him in other areas and let him work on that as well? But I don't know. Well, I'm just kidding. Obviously, we'll see what happens from here. But anyway, I'm going to go to the film. The highlights. It's a pet peeve of mine when people say film. You're watching huddle highlights. You didn't get access to some game film that these coaches have or something like that. You need to stop it. I'm not a scout by any means, so I don't pretend to be. I do have friends that have a scouting background. We've had some of them on the show, like Dylan Freeman, but they're very excited about this kid, very, very excited. So I want to go see what the hype is about. And some things I noticed that are pretty generic, I would say, but I just want to share them with you. Is he's a big play threat. He gets downfield pretty easily. I mean, he got a lot. I mean, first thing I noticed, he's getting ball after deep ball, getting bomb after bomb. He gets behind coverage really well, especially the safety cheats up. It's just, that was stupid, and now he can recognize that and see it. And it's interesting to see him make that little bit of a stutter. And then I'm getting rings on my phone, get a little bit of a stutter. And then he actually takes off, and the quarterback, and he's just waving his arm frantically for the quarterback to find him. Oftentimes the quarterback seems to find him. I wouldn't say he's the most shifty guy in the open field, but he gets north and south very quickly. And he's definitely one of those guys. He's just not a guy who wastes a lot of movement, wastes a lot of time. He's definitely the polar opposite of a J.K. Dobbins, who can move sideways and laterally with no hesitation whatsoever. But again, he has a quick, sudden burst in and out of cuts, I noticed. I mean, it's interesting because it's almost like his quick burst is even better than his straight line speed, which is pretty solid. I wouldn't say he has elite speed, but very good speed. And he didn't seem to get caught from behind too often, which is always nice. I mean, if you're seeing that in high school, and it doesn't generally get too much better in college, especially when the competition is increased. I didn't get a chance to see really an enormous route tree from him, but again, it's just a highlight film. I mean, I can't sit here and say, oh, I can't make any determination off that. But it's also possible because that's how the school feels the only way they need to use him, and in that certain way. And I saw he beat guys deep, and he hurt teams on bubble screens a lot, which I got to admit at first was giving me some James Clark vibes. If you guys remember that name from a while ago, from New Smyrna Beach. I remember actually not too far from me. When we recruited him in 2013, and I watched his highlights, I saw. I was excited for him, but he's a speed burner. I mean, he takes a bubble screen, he takes off, and he could beat people deep. But as we saw, from maybe wasn't as developed as we needed it when he got to the college level. But then I actually saw some nice back shoulder fades and some sideline routes that were quickly showed more to his game. So I think there's obviously something there. And looking at Hartline's classes, there's always a surprise or two, such as in 2019, we were kind of surprised that Jamison Williamson was more than just a burner. He actually could do a few things. In 2022, did anyone expect Jackson Smith-Njigba to be a guy that was the most ready to play of all the group? I mean, by the end you did. I mean, because you saw in high school he was dominant, but when we first committed, you thought, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what's so impressive about him. But you see he was a technician. He's really good. So And I mean, when he again, when he first committed, but now we're looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. as being a college-ready technician. He was kind of an afterthought after a while when he committed to Ohio State. Not a lot of Buckeye fans were talking about him. We were talking about the prize, which is Emeka Egbuka. But by the way, Egbuka, I thought, this is my personal feeling, I thought when he got here, okay, he's a freak athlete. What can he do as a wide receiver? Looking like he's further along than what we thought. So, so typically these guys can do more than we even think they can once they get to Ohio State. And unless you're some other worldly freak like a Julian Fleming, who we knew is raw, although he could still do some things. He wasn't like useless on the field or anything. But you knew he's raw coming out of high school. It's going to take some time for him. So it seems that more often than not, Hartline is recruiting guys that are a little more advanced and could be ready to play early if our wide receiver room wasn't so already ridiculously deep. So when I see Huddle, I don't really take it that seriously, and I'm certainly not a scout, as I said earlier. But I just want to offer some things that I saw. But go ahead, guys, give me a comment below. Go watch this Huddle and tell me what you think. I want to see what you're seeing when you watch this kid play, because I'm excited about him. I think he looks like a good player, and I obviously at this point, can you just do anything but trust Brian Hartline? But anyways, guys, another boom, huge boom for Ohio State. More to come, it looks like, along the line of scrimmage. So pay attention to that. A couple names we're going to mention. Cam Dewberry is looking good for Ohio State, offensive tackle out of Texas, and a defensive lineman out of Oklahoma, Chris McClellan, another guy who looks pretty promising for Ohio State. And as CJ Hicks, Captain Buckeye, likes to say on Ohio State on Twitter all the time, we're not done yet. I think that was actually Tegra who said that, but he's always saying more booms on the way, CJ Hicks. So guys, pay attention. More booms and more videos from us on the way regarding these commits that are coming to Ohio State. Big fun times for Ohio State, especially in the month of July, which is usually a dead period. But guys, thanks for tuning in as always. God bless you guys. As always, goodbye, God bless, and go Bucks.